morning and welcome to Fast Horses Today. Today is Sunday. It is September 8th. It's the last day of the meeting. So let's close this meeting over at Del Mar in a big fashion, in a winning way. So their start time is a little earlier. They start at 3:30 here Central Time. So that's 1:30 there Pacific. They got a big 11 race card. And, I'm going to skip the first few races as I usually do. I'm going to start out with a bet in the fifth race. Fifth race has approximate post time about 5:30 here Central Time, so that's 3:30 there in the Pacific. Fifth race is a mile and a 16th. This is a starter allowance, and I'm going to make a win bet on the 3 horse, was Phosphorescence. This is for Michael McCarthy. Now, this horse is 5-1 in the program. Juan Hernandez takes the call. Now, I'm thinking that the 6 horse, who is the program favorite for Richard Baltus and Umberto Rispoli at 5-2, dealer special. I think this horse is going to get over bet because of his last win. And, I'm going to take a shot that the 3 Phosphorescence at 5-1 will be a nice price here for Michael McCarthy. This horse is, definitely run with better in his career. And, he had a bit of a vacation, and came out in late July, early in the Del Mar meet and ran a 5 furlong sprint race on the grass, starter allowance, which same level here. And, now they're running a mile and a 16. So I think that sprint race really gives this horse a good shot here at a mile and a 16th. This horse had been running long in his career. So, and I think that was just probably a tightener. I thought the horse ran really nicely in that race. And at 5-1, I think he's worth a win bet. That's the 3 horse Phosphorescence. Now, if you're betting the pick 6 today, which, last day there's a mandatory payout, usually a nice day to bet the pick 6. That does start in the 6th race, which starts about 6 o'clock here Central, 4 o'clock Pacific. Interesting first leg of the pick 6. You've got the career maiden, who is Miramati. That's the 7 horse at 9-5 for Bob Baffert. And, it just seems like when this horse runs, you just look for a horse to beat him. If you're playing the pick 6, I think the 2 horse, who is a bit mischievous, for Peter Miller, I think that horse has a shot. I would put the 2 horse in for the pick 6 if you're playing. I'm not playing a pick 6 today, but, I think the 2 horse, a bit mischievous, could be the upsetter. Not at a big price, 5-2 in the program, but, certainly could beat Miramati. As we've seen, that horse is very beatable. But I do want to move over to the 7th race. 7th race will be the start of the late pick 5, and that's the final pick 5 of the day of the meeting for Del Mar. That's the 7th race. It's a 5 furlong grass race. They're starting this race about 6:30 here Central Time, 4:30 there in the Pacific Time Zone. 7th race is a first level allowance, 5 furlongs on the grass, as I mentioned. And, I think it's a nice race. It's a big field here to start this pick 5 off. We should have 12 horses if none of them scratch. And I've got 3 horses here I want to put in to get this pick 5 started. I'm going to go with the 1 horse, who is Will Be for Phil D'Amato. Now, this will be the first race on the grass for this horse, which shouldn't be a problem. I mean, the breeding says that the horse should be fine on grass. And, I like the races this horse has run in the speed figures. This horse does show speed in his prior races. I don't know if he'll show it today, but, if he should get himself a forward position, on these 5 furlong grass races and get the rail, he could be finishing up fast. Kyle Frey takes the ride, and Kyle Frey certainly does a good job on these 5 furlong grass races. So I think at 10-1, Wilby could be dangerous. I've also got the 2 horse, who is Red Pill for Todd Fincher and Diego Herrera. Now, this horse is a speed ball. He's shown speed in his prior races, coming out of New Mexico. He did run once here at Del Mar in a 5 furlong grass race at this same level. He broke out of the 8 hole and cleared, tried to clear the field, ended up, dueling with a horse who he couldn't clear. And I thought just ran an outstanding race. He dueled with Boss Sully, which you don't really want to be dueling on these 5 furlong grass races because usually you fall apart. But this horse never did fall apart. So shows me that he's got some ability and has got some run. I believe he does, clear this field, gets that rail spot. If any of the outside horses, come after him, we'll see. But I think Red Pill at 3-1 is certainly, worth putting in here because he could wire this field. And Fincher definitely has his horses ready. Then I'm also going to put the 5 horse, who is Disco Tribute. This is for Craig DeLassy. Now, Craig DeLassy has certainly done some great work at Del Mar, with more starters than he usually would have. So DeLassy's an absolutely capable trainer. Rispoli takes the call. Rispoli rode this horse last time. This horse comes off a win. That was in a California allowance race. the horse, overcame, a little bit of trouble, and I thought he won nicely. So it's just a matter of this horse getting a position, which Richpoli certainly knows how to do on these grass races. And the field is just okay in talent. So I think that this Calbred could win this open race. So I've got the 1, the 2, and the 5 here to start out the pick 5. Let's go to the the 8th race. 8th race is the second leg of the pick 5, and this is a California allowance race at 6.5 on the dirt. So this first level allowance horse is another big field, which is wonderful. I'm giving Del Mar kudos for putting together a nice card of races here. Now, in studying through this race, I come up with the 2 outside horses. I'm going to put the 11 and the 12. Now, the 11 is Bob's Blue Moon for Steve Sherman, and Abel Cedillo takes the call. Now, this horse had done most of his damage over in Northern California, which a lot of times, the Northern California winds don't translate south. But what gives me reason that this horse is definitely talented and can take care of this field is that he did come down to Del Mar earlier in the meet. They put him on the grass on a 5 furlong grass race, and he got it done. So, that being on the grass, he's taking advantage of the cow condition that you could run him back on the dirt in this allowance race, and you're still eligible, to run. So they're taking advantage of that. The horse is 5-2 in the program. He comes off a 4-race win streak, which, this horse is sharp and he's talented and he's shown an ability to win on different surfaces. So I think this horse fits in Southern California. He's shown it. He wins. He won on the grass. I think he could translate that to the dirt. So that's 5-2. That's Bob's Blue Moon. And then I'm going to put a long shot in this race. I'm going to put the 12 horse, who is Marinda, for Gary Mandella. Mike Smith takes the call. Mike Smith has ridden this horse many times. Now, as you'll notice, you'll see this is a 3-year-old filly running with boys. And, at first I questioned this. I wondered, what the heck is Gary Mandella doing here? Now, my guess is he couldn't get into that race. There was a filly and mare race yesterday, so he wasn't able to draw into that race. So, he's going to take advantage of a big weight break that he gets from several of these. And, Marinda was a horse. She had run one of the fastest races at Del Mar last summer in breaking her maiden. I think there was a lot of hope for this horse. She was bet on that day. She won easily. Next race, they put her into a stake race over Breeders' Cup weekend, a Calbred stake race, which she was a big favorite that day. She got beat, had a bit of a vacation. They brought her back in the springtime in another California stakes race. She was a favorite that day and got beat. And then, she ran at Del Mar in a 5 furlong grass race. I think they were just trying to get her out there because she hadn't run in a bit. So, Marinda's a talented horse. I don't know what Gary Mandella does with horses that he has not learned from his father, but I'm just hoping that this horse can outrun her trainer. She's talented. Mike Smith takes the call, and maybe an upset here in a field that I feel is kind of weak on talent. So that's the 11 and the 12 I'm going to put in the 8th race to try to get the pick 5 moved along. All right, now let's move over to the 9th race. 9th race is a nice race. It's a mile grass race, grade 3. These are for 2-year-olds. It's the Del Mar Juvenile Turf. And another nice field of horses, big field here. And I've got 4 horses here. Plus, I do have a win bet that I want to make here in this 9th race. So for pick 5 purposes, I'm going to put the 1, Artislas, for Jeff Mullins. Now, Jeff Mullins, first out, this horse got it done. He got it done at a decent price. Raylo Gutierrez rode the horse. He comes back. That was a 5 furlong grass race. And I just feel like in watching this horse's race that this horse certainly will like running the 2 turns, at a mile. And having the 1 hole, Gutierrez can figure out a nice trip, and we'll see if he finishes up there. I'm also going to put the 3 horse, who is Enchore Dub. This is an Irish-bred horse. Mark Glatt got this horse from Ireland. Horse ran 1 time in a win, and that was back in July at Gowran Park. Now, I can't say I know much or anything about Gowran Park, but this horse is coming over to Del Mar for the first time. And, she has the benefit of having Flavia and Pratt ride the horse. So you want to go against Pratt, do that at your own caveat emptor there. This horse is 5-1 in the program, certainly worth a look. So I'm going to put the 3 horse. I'm also going to put the 8 horse, who is Scipio, for Richard Baltus. And Richard Baltus, this horse, has Rispoli on the horse, which Rispoli rode the horse last time. This horse comes out of the same race as Artislas. And this horse was bet down that day. It was about 2-1, 5-2, somewhere around there. Kind of made a mess of the start. So kind of blew all of her chances to win, in a 5 furlong grass race. But I thought she ran on nicely and, showed some ability, showed some run. So I think that a mile race, certainly should be fine for this horse. This horse is 12-1. And as we see sometimes when they stretch these horses out over the grass, these babies, you'll see some upsets here. Then finally, I'm going to put the 10 horse, who is Mischief River, and I'm going to make a win bet on the 10 horse as well. This horse is 4-1 in the program. This horse is out of the James Glenn barn. Now, James Glenn, I believe James Glenn has done a lot more quarter horse training. He's got a couple starts as thoroughbreds, but, this horse is a $500,000 purchase out of, by Into Mischief, out of Candy Drawer, who was a Candy Ride horse. And I just look at this horse and the races this horse has run. If this horse's connections were Bob Baffert, Phil D'Amato, Mike McCarthy, this horse would probably be 8-5. But since people aren't familiar with James Glenn, and he puts a jock on him that's more of a Los Al jockey, and Cesar Ortega. Ortega's ridden the horse twice. This horse broke her maiden, first out at Los Al. I thought she ran a really nice race, breaking her maiden. And you kind of wondered, do those Los Al races translate when they get to the bigger tracks like Del Mar or Santa Anita? And I believe it does, because they ended up putting this horse in the Best Pal. Ortega rode the horse again, and this horse ended up going and trying to run. Now, I'm calling this Mischief River a she. I'm sorry, it's a colt. It's a he. So, he tried running with Getaway Car in the Best Pal. And I thought he made a really, really good account of himself in that race. Getaway Car just has a ton of speed. We'll talk about him later. He's going in the Del Mar Futurity. But this horse ran a really nice race in the Grade 3 Best Pal. And, the breeding says mile on the turf should be perfect for this horse. 4-1, Mischief River. We're going to see if Cesar Ortega, knows how to ride on the grass and knows how to ride a mile race. So I'm going to make a win bet on the horse. But because there are some questions, for pick 5 purposes, I'm going to put the 1, 3, 8, and 10. All right, now let's move over to the next race of the day. Next race of the day is the 10th race, and it is the Del Mar Futurity. 7 furlongs. This is a Grade 1. Always an outstanding race. We see some of the future stars every year come out for this race. It's a $300,000 race. Bob Baffert always has it full, with his horses, and he does again. I've got 4 horses here. And I didn't think it was as simple as just singling Getaway Car. Getaway Car is the 6-5 favorite, the 1 horse for Baffert. Hernandez takes the call. This horse has done everything right in 2 starts. Gets out, runs fast, keeps going. Here's what I wonder, and we saw this yesterday in the Del Mar Debutante. The horses that win by open lengths and they just kind of gear them down at the end of the race, when they get challenged or maybe some adversity happens and maybe a longer race, you don't know if they're going to respond. So, that's what Getaway Car's done. Run outstanding, 2 races, 1 by open lengths. But we'll see if this horse gets challenged or if, he gets out of that 1 hole and doesn't get a great trip and gets pressed going longer. You never know. So I'm putting 4 horses in. I'm going to put Getaway Car. I'm going to put the 2 horse who is gaming for Bob Baffert as well. Baffert's got 3 of them here, and I'm putting them all. Gaming gets the services of Flavian Prat. And last year, I remember Prat came in for the Del Mar Futurity and ended up winning in an upset fashion with Prince of Monaco, I think it was. Prince of Monaco is who he won with. So this horse is 7-2. And Prat, got him. The horse ran 1 time, broke his maiden like most of these Baffert horses do. So I'm going to put the 2, Gaming. I'm also going to put the 6 horse, it was McKinsey Street for Tim Yakteen. Now, McKinsey Street won a big maiden race as well. Yakteen had, I think, a couple winners over that weekend. This horse is out of McKinsey, and we've seen some nice McKinseys here at Del Mar as well as Saratoga. So McKinsey's seems like one of the nice early season or early sires. So freshman sires, I should say. So we're going to see McKinsey's 4-1 in the program. Kazushi Kimura on the horse. Kimura broke the maiden with this horse. Got a nice speed figure. Could be dangerous. Distance shouldn't be a problem. And I'm also going to put the 3rd Baffert horse in, the 7 Citizen Bull. This horse also broke his maiden with a pretty big speed figure. Ended up beating Smash It, which we saw Smash It run nicely yesterday. Smash It's a nice horse. I'd been running up against Buzzsaws from the Baffert barn. Ended up getting a job done yesterday. So Citizen Bull did beat Smash It. He's 9-2. That day, Martin Garcia was on the horse to break the maiden. Mike Smith takes the call today, 9-2, so that's Citizen Bull. So we've got the 1, 2, 6, and 7. Now let's go to the last race of the day, the last race of the meet for the summer meet at Del Mar. And this will cap off the day, the meet, the pick 5, and everything else there. The 11th race is as a post time about 8:30 Central Time, 6:30 Pacific. So yeah, it's going to be dark out there. So, good luck to these folks. This is a first level allowance, open allowance race, mile and a 16th, another big field. So it's making these races challenging, these multi-races challenging, and kudos to Del Mar. So I've got 3 horses that I'm going to put in here, hoping my pick 5's live, and I've got 3 horses in coverage. I'm going to put the 3 horse. It was Rugelach for George Papapadromo. Now, Rugelach, we saw him run last a few weeks back, about a month or so back, for Ron Ellis. He ended up breaking or winning at 40,000. Just an open claimer, 40,000 for Ron Ellis. Papapadromo saw fit to claim the horse. The horse ran huge that day. And maybe I learned a lesson. Yesterday I went against a claimer going into an allowance race. I thought that was an indictment on the field. That was a dirt race. And I was not right with that pick. But I think Rugelach certainly fits, has run with allowance horses, has run competitively. What's his name? Ellis did put this horse in a claim, so Papapadromo grabbed the horse. Horse looked great. Probably was still fresh there, 3-1, Rispoli. Certainly worth a play here in the pick 5. I'm going to put the 7 horse, who is Shocking Gray, for Jeff Mullins. Now, Mullins is the second start off a layoff for Mullins, which Mullins, does pretty well with that. And this horse seems to be live to me. Actually, check that. Mullins, second time layoff, but, this horse is 8-1. I really liked her last race. I thought she ran with some nice horses, and she ran with a horse that I really liked named Yorona. And she ended up, just losing Yorona for second off a decent layoff. And, this horse had run some good races here in the open allowance. 8-1, Mike Smith. As we've seen, some of these last races of the day have some upsets. So Shocking Gray wouldn't shock me. I'm going to put her in. Then I'm going to finally put the 11 horse in, who is Special Flower. This comes out of the Doug O'Neill barn. Juan Hernandez on the horse. And this horse is a 5-year-old with only 1 start. So kind of a unique situation. You don't really see that. A horse is 5 years old, having 1 start, this being her second start. She ran back in the springtime in Santa Anita. Ended up winning a turf sprint. Flavian Pratt rode that day. I'm wondering, maybe O'Neill didn't know Pratt was in town today. Otherwise, he might have put him back on this horse. But Hernandez being on the horse, certainly no problem there. But this horse ran a really nice race. Word must have been out that day. Horse was 8-5. Pratt got the job done on a 6-furlong turf race. And, I just think that this field is probably ripe for the pickings, that Special Flower could come back off a layoff off 1 start, and maybe she's a special horse. We'll see. She's 6-1 in the program, so that's the 3, 7, and 11 to cap off the pick 5. All right, now let's recap the day here at Del Mar. So at Del Mar, I'm going to start out with the 5th race. I've got a win bet on the 3 horse, and then let's move over to the 7th race, which is the late pick 5. I've got the 1, 2, 5. With the 11, 12, with the 1, 3, 8, 10, with the 1, 2, 6, 7, with the 3, 7, 11 at the end. Now that ticket is $144. You know what? Last day of the Del Mar meet, gonna go for it here, and a little pricier than usual for me, but I'm gonna go for it here with the 144. And I've got the 2 win bets. In the 5th race, I've got the 3, and the 9th race, I've got the 10. So, as always, if you see fit, jump in. If you want to add or subtract, you do what you need to do. If you want to bet these races individually or bet the pick 3s or the pick 4, you got to do what suits you best. So, as always, I wish you the best of luck. Let's get great trips here on this last day of Del Mar, because great trips will result in winners. And let's wish the folks over at Del Mar a nice and safe day of racing. So as always, I ask you to please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button for me. I really appreciate that. I appreciate a lot of the new viewers that we've had over the last couple weeks. Thank you so much for watching. I hope some of this information has helped you. And, make some comments, like, dislike. Let's create a discussion here. Would like to hear from you. And let's finish up this meet strong at Del Mar, where the turf meets the surf. Thanks again for watching, and let's have a wonderful Sunday. Thank you very much.